Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy release day for Pretty Pink Posh's May 2025 release. Nikki says she ordered the Pretty Pink Posh bundle at midnight last night. That's hilarious. As always, Pretty Pink Posh has brought us some amazing new products for this month. And today we're going to combine quite a few of them and make a couple of cards. I know a few weeks ago I talked a little bit about trying to do some more lives where I use more than just, or create, I should say, more than maybe just one card in a live, especially on release days and things like that. So today we are going to go through two cards. I have pre-planned them just a little bit, but not to the extent that I know exactly where it's going. So there's still that live element to it. Hello, Kathleen. She says she made it to a live. Hello, Under a Pile of Papers, and Teresa and Beatrice. Beatrice is checking in, sneaking in from work. I love that. Hi, Neenah. Hello, Mandy. Let's see, Kat, hello. I haven't seen your name in a little while. Nice to see you here. Beth is new. Welcome, Beth. That is so exciting. Hello, Amy. Let's see, Randy is here. So good to see everybody today. So I know this is a different day than when I'm usually live. I am going to attempt going forward. It won't be every release or anything like that, but I am going to attempt to do lives on release days a little bit more often. I think it might be something kind of fun, and I'm not necessarily just Pretty Pink Posh, but definitely any month that I am guesting for Pretty Pink Posh, I'm going to try to do a little bit of live. Let's see. Rainy in Atlanta, DF says. Michelle says, yay, she made it to a live. That's awesome. Diane is also saying, yay. I love that. Kat says, more cards are always fun. I think so too. And I also am a big fan. If you're going to make the mess, you might as well get the most out of it, right? Tabitha, hello, my friend. Hi, Jennifer. Let's see. DF says she loves Pretty Pink Posh and Paulina. Same. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about what we're going to be using today. Let me know down in the chat. Nikki's already told us that she bought the whole bundle. If you picked up some things from Pretty Pink Posh, oh, sorry, I think I just spit. Good thing that nobody's actually sitting here. If you picked up anything from Pretty Pink Posh, drop a comment. Let us know what you got. Let me know. I do have another project. I haven't actually done it yet. That will be next week. So I would love to know what from the release would you like me to see in that video. Drop me a comment. Even if you're watching this on the replay crew, we love you guys. If you're watching the video later on, drop me a comment and let me know, or drop me a comment here in the chat. That way I kind of know what you guys are interested in and maybe what I should focus on for next week's video. Hello, Stella. Oh, Beatrice already placed an order. I love that. Okay, so I have my handy dandy Spellbinders craft stacks here, and you can kind of see some cards inside of here. Let's talk about what we are using. First up, let me fix something. Tabitha's going to see what we're making first. I love it. We are going to be using the layered Daffodils stencils. Let me fix there we go. I mean, you guys, can I even remember 1 week off or so? And can I even remember how to do a live? We're going to use the layered Daffodils stencil for our cards today. Oh, I forgot something. One moment. Our teacup shaker. So what I love, and that Pretty Pink Posh has kind of gone to, is that instead of making it all one die and you have to really are limited, you have to use it that way or you have to piece it together, which I have done many times. There's nothing wrong with that. I love that there's a separate piece, so it can be a teacup or it can be a shaker and you can create the window, and plus it has the little tea bag here that you can build, which is adorable. I'm actually going to use this not as a shaker today and just do this as a standard die cut. Then we're also going to use the shaker vase in the same way, and it's the same deal. We have the vase, we have the cutout piece to make it a frame for a shaker, and then we have this awesome little scallop layering piece that goes on the bottom, which I love that little detail. I think that is so clever and fun. Then I pulled a couple of stamp sets to use for my greetings today. I, of course, picked Tea Time for one of my cards, and then we're going to choose Friend Greetings for the other in that wonderful classic Pretty Pink Posh combination of fonts. I just love. You can always tell a Pretty Pink Posh font. Then we have the Floral Wreath Builder, and you may remember from the holiday time there was other wreath builder dies. Now we have our beautiful, I don't mean this in a bad way, but basic flower die. Like all year round, this is going to be amazing. We are actually going to use florals from this to fill our vase. I'll use it as a wreath on another card. Let me make sure my thing is working. And then we have our spring floral set. This is a wonderful, beautiful floral building set. So these are the products that I have pulled to use today. Let's open up our craft stacks and see what we have inside, so you can kind of get an idea of where I'm going to go with this. Craft stacks are one of the best ways that if you cannot create your full project in one sitting, you can, like I did here, put all your components in your box, whether you're using the small or the large, and then when you're ready to create, you can put the lid on it, you can stack them up, but when you're ready to create, take the lid off, grab your pieces, and they're all going to be here. That's my favorite thing about these craft stacks. Let's see. Okay, so this background is already stenciled. I am going to show that really quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to carefully dump everything in here, because we are going to do our background first. So I chose to do a craft background today and do my stenciling on the craft, and it turned out really beautifully. So let's go ahead. We're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to dump everything right into our craft stacks. We're going to move those over, and we are going to work on our borders first. Okay, I am going to mask off that outer edge of both cards. Well, I guess just one, since the other one is already stenciled. But I like to take a little Post-it tape, and what I like is that stitching line kind of naturally gives us a layer. So you can see in the one that I have already done, it almost automatically gives it that framed up appearance without an extra piece of paper. And I kind of love that look. So we are going to pop these in here. DF says, love the craft stacks. Yes. Elizabeth says she needs to buy those. I don't know what I did without them. I love them. All right. There we go. And we're going to grab our stencil set. Kat's creating 6 Mother's Day cards, and these would have been so helpful. The craft stack, she said, would have been so helpful. Marisha, happy Wednesday to you as well. We're going to start with the greenery. I found this one is, I think this is Stencil C. It is, but for whatever reason, I found Stencil C the easiest one to start with. You can start wherever you like. And I'm going to work on my Glassboard Studio glass mat today and just use my magnets to help hold everything down. For my stenciling, Catherine says she's watching today's floss tube. Yes, she almost missed it. Yes, I do have a new stitching update video as well. So if you haven't caught that and you like stitching content, you can check it out. So I have pulled 2 Distress Oxides and, oh yeah, here it is, right here, and a white pigment ink for my stenciling. And we're going to start with Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide ink. I really like how the oxides work over this craft cardstock, and we're just going to stencil. I don't necessarily want my stenciled background to compete with what we're going to apply on top of here, so I'm going to go in, you know, I'm not going to worry too much about using a super heavy hand, but I do still want it to give that patterned paper look. Hello, Michelle's getting to catch a live in a while. Nice. Oh, you've become a Gigi since the last time. Congratulations. Oh, that's so exciting. All right. So there is our first layer. And I really like the stems. That just, for some, that really helps me with lining things up. Next, we are ready for our base daffodils, which is going to be our white layer. And I just want to make, oh, it needs to be straight. It needs to be straight, Nicole. Don't be going crazy here with whatever you're doing. I feel like I need to move this. I'm just going to check. I want to make sure that it looks like I'm lining everything up appropriately, and that looks good. And, oh, grandmother. She became a grandma is what she means, I'm sure. Okay, so we are going to use white pigment ink for this, and I'm going to use a pouncer tool. That's what I use for my white. You could use a brush too, but I love my pouncers. You could use pouncers for every step in this if you wanted to. Okay, so the Gigi name, which means grandmother, that's what Michelle picked. That's what she wants her grandma name to be. Can you guys tell me? So for those who are grandmothers, or for those who know a grandmother, did they want to be called Grandma, or did they want a name like Gigi or Mimi? I know there's lots of different ones out there. So really funny, not funny. We were having this chat last weekend, so this is a great time to bring it up. I was talking to my friends about this. My grandmother did not want any name other than Grandma. She did not. One time I called her Granny. I was older. I was being silly, and she did not like it. So just let me know down in the chat, because I do think it's very interesting and I'd love to know. I have a friend and I think she goes by Mimi. And I always think that's so cute and fun. So let me know down in the chat. Okay. So we got our second layer down. Let's go ahead and get our third layer. And this is going to be that center of the daffodil. And again, just going to hold it down in place with my magnets. And we're going to go in with mustard seed this time. Hi, Joanne. Tabitha. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. She says her aunt insists on being called Glamma. I'm going to put it up on the screen because I think that's so funny. Nana, and she's Granny. Elizabeth said, that's so funny. My grandma would not go for that. Oh, I love that you guys are telling us. Mima. Oh, Bubba. Oh, cute. And Grammy. Cute. Oh, that's so fun. Oh, no. Jennifer says, have you all seen the commercial where a woman goes shopping for her grandma name? She says it's funny. I have not seen that, but that sounds hysterical. I love that. I'm going to have to go look on YouTube for that later. Anyway, it got me to thinking about that. I hope someday to be a grandmother. I'll have to think about what I want my name to be, I guess. I don't know if I care. Anyway, maybe I'll think of it later. Beth says Babette. Oh, fun. My dad loved Papa. Yes. Okay, my dad did not mind my daughter calling him that at all, which I thought was funny. I thought he might care, but she would call him that. Not always. She'd call him Grandpa too, but sometimes when she's feeling especially affectionate, she calls him Papa. Yeah. Oh, Michelle says her oldest couldn't say grandma, so he called her mother Gaga and still does to this day, 27 years later. Isn't that cute how those names stick? I love that. This is a fun conversation. Let's see. My husband is Papa, Elizabeth said. Yes, I love that. Okay, while I'm here, I'm just going to pierce these out. You know, sometimes those little die cut pieces stick. So I'm just going to take a minute and clean up my borders. So many fun different names. So I don't know, should I am going to tell this story because I don't think my kids' grandma wouldn't care. I mean, she used to say this to my ex-husband's mother. So my ex-mother-in-law, she, let's see, my oldest was the oldest grandchild on both sides. And when he was little, we were out of town somewhere and he was staying part of the time with each of them, just, you know, depending on what they had going on or whatever. And he was with his grandma and he called her big grandma. He came up with that and he called my mom little grandma. And I remember my mom telling me when she went to pick him up that his other grandma was telling her that, and she goes, "It's true." And I just always, I mean, to this day, we still laugh about it. Like when we have family get-togethers and stuff, because for the longest time, then all the rest of the grandkids picked up on that because he would just keep saying it. We'd be like, "No, it's grandma." But no, that's how he differentiated the two. Anyway, it was a funny little story, and we do still get a kick out of it. Auntie Boom, because when he was young, he used to pretend to bang into a wall and always said boom. Oh my gosh, Tabitha, that's hilarious. Oh gosh. Hello, Joyous in Christ. I haven't seen you in a while either. It's so good to see some of my friends that I haven't seen here. I know, life is busy. There's always the replay, but it's fun to catch up with you guys live. Michelle says, LOL. I know, we were horrified. Like, absolutely horrified when he started doing that, but she literally just shrugged it off and she was like, "Well, it's true." I just remember my mom calling and telling me that, and I'm like, "Oh no, no, don't." But, you know, we tried to discourage it, but I guess kids will be kids, right? Hello, Geraldine. Oh no, Jennifer says that's better than one of her kids calling the other grandma the other grandma. Yeah, no, not good. This was the same trip, by the way, that we were gone. Here's the other funny story. I'm just telling on my oldest all day today. and he won't care. He'll think it. We still laugh about this too. Same trip that he named her Big Grandma. He was like laying in bed with her. She must have been in her room laying in bed watching a baseball game, because that's like one of her very favorite things to do, while he was napping. And he was napping in there. But then she fell asleep during the nap, as one does, you know? And she was snoring. And he woke up and hit her on the arm. And he's like, Grandma, Big Grandma, stop making that noise. Yeah, so now that's our joke all the time if somebody snores, is stop making that noise. Anyway, funny things that kids say that just stick with you and become family jokes forever. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Oh my gosh, still so much fun. Let's see, Teresa says, is it wrong that she has one earphone tied to her meeting at work and the other one tied to my feet? Hi, Teresa, by the way. No, that's not bad. I say that's fine. All right, guys. So here's our backgrounds. Let's start working on, let's go ahead and do our teacup card first. So I'm going to start with my teacup, and I'm just going to move all of this stuff out of the way, including my greetings. I mean, I was really pre-planning here. All right. I want to add a little bit of color, I think, to my teacup, and I don't think I pulled the right color, of course. Oh yeah, lots of laughter. And I would not tell these stories unless I knew that all parties wouldn't care. But she's such a good sport about those things. I mean, it was just so funny. We just laughed about it. The teacup is absolutely darling. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush really quick. It is a fun story, Kat. We love all of those little stories. And I was just telling, this isn't related to grandparents, but it is related to my daughter. When she was, I don't know how old she was. We were at Disney World, and we had rode Splash Mountain probably three times back to back. She is, and to this day, she's still my daredevil. Let's go ride all the roller coasters, all that, right? So she was iffy, like if she was tall enough, but the people working had let her go. She'd ridden it 3 times back to back. We get up there and there'd been a shift change. They measured her height, the new person working the gate, and said she was like this much too short and said she couldn't ride. And she literally sat down on the ground and started crying and screaming, I'm not taller enough. I'm not taller enough. And we, to this day, still say, I'm not taller enough. Just another funny. Lots of funnies. Oh, Kat's doing the same thing, Teresa. Yes, Joys and Cries. He is a very good sport. And all of these, I mean, there are things I won't, you know, there's always things you should not share. But these are the things that we, like everybody knows, they won't care. Okay, we're going to take a little surf ink and we're going to add some shading to our teacup. I have die cut everything from Spellbinders cardstocks today, and I've listed all of those colors below. I am using all of the newer colors from Spellbinders. They are so gorgeous. Tanya, what size glass mat do you have? I have the, is it 18 by 22? No. 17 by 22? Is that right? 16 by 22. 17. Nicole, come on. 16 by 22. It's a good size, and I really, really like it. Hello, Myrna. Hi, Joanne. I just don't want my teacup to be super flat, especially because we are going to add a little shading to our florals as well. Okay, it doesn't need to be too much. I think that's going to be good. Let's just double check. Mandy says for years, she says I am short. Oh, I think that's going to be cute. I really love this color of blue against the craft. I think it's so pretty. All right, we're going to grab our greenery next, and I'm going to go ahead and shade all of it at one time before we move on to our flowers and start building those. My flowers today, I think, nope, I was going to say I thought they were all from our spring floral set, but I lie. Some of them are from the Wreath Builder. So the stems are all from the spring floral set. The individual leaves here are all from the Wreath Builder, but you can see how they really mix and match and work together perfectly. I'm going to take a little bit darker teal than what I was using. Hello, my friend. How are you? Let's see. Cute cup so far, Mandy says. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ink up my detail blending brush, and we're going to add a little bit of shading. If you haven't been here before, I love kind of a teal over my greenery. It just gives it a really fun, springy look, and it doesn't end up looking all that teal, I don't think. Maybe a little bit, but I don't hate it. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to add in a little more shading. I don't want to completely cover up the Rainforest color cardstock. I want to leave little touches of that limey color. But I think a little shading goes a long way. It doesn't have to be over the top. You could also start with all white die cut pieces and completely add your color with inks. That is another really fun option. Starting with colored cardstock die cuts is like a time saver, basically. Michelle says she needs more of those little brushes. You do. These are my favorite. I really like that they're straight and that they have that nice long handle. I don't know why. I feel like they're just very comfortable in hand. Okay, if you've said I've missed it, has anybody said kind of what they are looking to see used from this release? Anything in particular that I'm not using here today? Let me know. And for anyone wondering, I do have a video coming with the waffle flower release products, because I know I've seen that request quite a few different places. My Patreon has asked for that, and I do have a video coming. I just need to get it edited. I have not got it edited yet. I was gone for a few days, and so I'm a little bit behind. Question, is anyone getting excited that it's going to be summer soon? Okay, anyone? Mandy wants to know if anyone else is excited that it's going to be summer soon. I think I am. I'm sure I'll be ready for it to not be summer by July 4th, but it's raining today here. I mean, just dumping rain. I'm not mad about it either. I'm okay with that. I got home from my trip and my son and I, Monday morning, were out mowing. The grass needed mowed, but we were trying to catch it in between rainy sessions so that we didn't have a complete, like, forest situation happening in our backyard. Heidi says, excited for 115, question mark. Totally not. Colleen wants to see the shadow box used. Joyous and Christ says, growing up, her kid's goal was to be taller than mommy at 5'1". I told them that they aim low and their dad is 6'3". The hummingbird is so pretty. The hummingbird is amazing. Julie, Nicole, do your die cuts work with the Big Shot? Yes, they are going to work just like any die. So if you have any other dies from Spellbinders, they are going to work with your Sizzix machine. Just check on the Spellbinders website. If you go to, what is that section called on Spellbinders? But it tells you all of the machines that their dies work with. It will work with that machine, absolutely. Yes, Laura loves the hummingbirds. Yes. Beautiful in Michigan today. It's your birthday, Lois. Happy birthday to you. That's awesome. Okay, let me clean up my ink for this, and we're going to do a little inking for the rest of our flowers. Now, I am not going to ink the white part of my daffodil. I have found anytime I've tried to add some shading to my daffodils, I'm usually not super happy with it. So we're going to pull out those pieces really quick. Hey, I'm going to mute everybody. I have a phone call I have to answer. It'll be real fast. So sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry, everybody. My boys are done at spa day, but they can stay there and play for a while, which is good. Waffle Flowers release is amazing, Joanne said yes. Okay, we're going to use a little honey ink, and we are going to ink up the yellow piece or portion of our daffodils before we glue those together. Okay, I'm going to grab my honey ink, and I just want to add a little shading here, and I really think this is going to be enough to add great interest to our flowers. Without anything on that white portion. Oh, lots of love for Waffle Flowers release. I love that. Do a little bit here as well. Okay. We'll set that aside for a minute. And let's glue these together. All right, I'm going to pop that there. I wanted my floral bouquets either in the teacups or, you know, just individual to be, I wanted the bouquet to be full, I guess is what I wanted to say. Oh, I think I actually inked up more than what I'm going to use. Well, we'll use that on the other card. There we go. Oh, good. Amy just got her die cut. A lot of companies' new releases. Yes, there's a lot going on for sure. For sure. All right. For this, we have a few additional pretty little flowers. So we've got lots of these little, I kind of did them in a creamy color bloom. We'll probably just add a little yellow to these as well. I like the yellow with the blue. Let's see, we got a little pink flower. All of these fun little pieces. Okay, so let's go ahead while we have our yellow blending brush out, and I'm not going to ink it up, and I'm just going to add a little bit, I think. Let's see if I like this. And I'm going to layer two of these together. Oh, that's not it. There it is. I'm going to layer two of these together to make a fuller bloom. And then for the center of this, let's see, I need another one of those. I actually just, it's all one piece. So let me show you that really quick. So this die cut, and all of them are like this. Die cuts the bloom and the flower center. You can replace the flower centers with gems, sequins, anything, little buttons, whatever you want. You could die cut it from another piece of cardstock. I am actually going to just ink it up. I die cut it from the same color. I kept the same color because we're just going to change the color, or in this case, make it darker with our ink pad. Hello, Chris. How are you? Some of you I got to see pretty recently in person, which is super fun. So I just really ink that up with some honey ink, and we're going to pop that here in the center. Oh, that's going to be cute. I kept my color palette really, really simple. Like, I tried not to pull too many extra colors in for this. I don't know why. That was just the mood I was in when I was prepping these cards. And I'm kind of loving it. It gives you kind of, you know, a late springy or springy Mother's Day maybe vibe, or they're not Mother's Day cards. They could be, but just kind of keeping it very, very simple. All right. So we got our yellow inking done for this. I'm going to move that. And we're going to add a little bit of shading with some cheeky ink to our pink blooms. Is there a rule of thumb when picking the ink colors you use? You know what? There isn't a rule of thumb. I kind of know my favorite colors. That's a really good question, and I've actually gotten asked this quite a bit lately. So I'm going to pop Pamela's question up here on the screen. When I'm picking colors, I do generally try to pick them similar, I suppose, to my cardstock color, but darker. The exceptions to this are reds, where I often feel like dark red still doesn't show up on a red cardstock, so I will use maybe a dark purpley color or a brown, something with more of a brown tone to it, just to darken that cardstock, because you often don't see that it's that color necessarily. But if you try to ink red with a dark red, I feel like when it dries, it just fades right into oblivion and you can't even tell you shaded at all. And purple kind of does that too if it's a darker purple. But otherwise, I generally stick to that same color family, and I just pick my favorite colors for the most part. But you can also take chances too. Sometimes for example, with the greens, I found that I love a teal over a limey green or even a lighter green cardstock color. So that wouldn't necessarily be within the same color family. I think the best thing to do is to just give it a try. Okay, I'm going to ink up a little cheeky ink here. And I'm going to start in the center of this one. And I'm definitely using a light hand today for the most part. I don't want to completely cover up my base color, unless it's that flower center, which I did. And I think that cheeky is probably going to be dark enough for this. And most of the color is going to fade a little bit. We're still going to have the shading, but it's not going to be super, super dark. All right, let's start building. Actually, let's stamp our greetings, and then we'll build that. Whoops. All right. So I'm going to pop my teacup in here, and I am going to use those greetings that work with this. So this is your terrific and have a special day. And I'm going to first kind of lay things out. I'm likely going to need to stamp things separately so that we can squish them up. If you try to lay it all out, because of that outline in our clear stamps, it will often make it a little well, to my eye, it widens it out just a little too much. So we're going to actually, I just want to make sure I've left enough room. I am going to stamp the word special first, and then we'll come back. And I am just going to use black ink today. I want this to be nice and basic. I think it'll stand out good for this one. So then I'm able to come in here and I'm able to get the word day a little bit closer than what I would have been able to get it if I had tried to stamp them all together. But at the same time, I am going to pop in my have a part of this, like so maybe. Gonna have to wet my finger to, because they're new, so you know how they stick so bad when they're new. Okay. That is not straight. That is going to drive me bonkers. Let's look at that. Okay, that looks okay. Oh, good, Tanya. Thank you. Tabitha. That's funny. I think my mat needs cleaned. It is just popping up. Let's try that one more time. Okay. What brushes are you using? Barbara asks. I'm using Spellbinders brushes today. All of my brushes are Spellbinders. Okay, and then we're going to pop this Your Terrific right up here to finish it out. And again, come on. That's going to drive me crazy. It keeps moving my sentiments. Okay. And we're going to finish it off. Now there are dies for a lot of the cursive words, as there usually are with the Pretty Pink Posh sets. So if you want to layer those instead of just stamp them on your piece, you can easily do that. Yes, this ink is so crisp. I really do like it a lot. Okay. Before we start gluing anything down, I'm going to take my greenery and we're going to do a little floral arranging. Just a tiny bit. In fact, before we get too excited about this, let's make sure we're leaving enough room up at the top. Like I don't want everything hanging really far off. This rectangle is going to be slightly smaller than A2 size. So if it hangs off a little bit, that's fine, but I still want this to be able to fit in my envelope really nicely. So let's see, I want this one to be a little bit lower. And we're going to tuck some of our greenery down here, I think. That's what I'm wanting to do. Lots and lots of greenery. We'll do that in a minute. This one can be up a little bit higher. I just want it to be a nice mix. Maybe like that. Oh, I like that. And then we have two other littler stems, and I think we're going to do both of those there. Okay, I'm not going to glue it down quite yet. Hello, Donna Marie. Anna says, never thought of stamping one phrase or word at a time to make it fit better. Yes, it often will make it fit a lot better, and you'll be a lot happier with it. I'm going to, even though I haven't exactly, glued these down yet, I am going to work on adding my flowers And then we will assemble our bouquet here, or our floral arrangement. So I'm going to have these. Look how beautiful this color is. I just wanted to pull in a little additional color. Now these blooms here, oh, and I didn't do these flower centers. I think I'm going to do gems for these, is what I was thinking. So we're going to have a couple of like little blooms down here near the base of our little teacup. And then these are going to go on these stems here, like so. We'll do that one and that one like that. And for these, just pull that out a little bit. Let's do both of these at the same time. Then we can kind of assemble it all. Like that. Something I love about these is they are not super teeny tiny, so it is very easy to work with. Hello, Paula. Tracy says she wished she would have picked a cute grandma name. She says now she's 5. Is it too late to switch? I don't know. Maybe you ought to ask her if she wants to call you something else. That would be kind of funny. As long as it's a good thing. All right. So I think this is pretty cute. I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to start with this piece. And I'm going to put a little glue here. We're just going to start building our bouquet. And I like the greenery to stick out a little ways. But again, my goal is to make it fit in that envelope nicely. And because I like that there's one of each of these going both directions, one, you know, kind of left facing, one right facing, I don't want them to be at the same height. So I'm actually going to tuck this one down inside a little bit further. And then this one I think I'll have stick up just a little bit more. And I'm also not going to put it quite as far out to the side. There we go. And then I'm going to tuck both of these pink blooms kind of over this direction a little bit, I think. That's completely covering that up. We don't want to do that. So I think this one actually needs to go kind of here. Yes, I like that better. And then this one will go out here to the side just a little bit since it's a little bit more left facing. Yes, let's do that. Oh, that's going to be cute, cute, cute. Okay, now, oops, oh man. So in this set, I kind of bent that up. Oh, thank you, Myrna. Let me grab my teacup shaker so I can talk about the pieces. There's this little tea bag here. I did go ahead and die cut the hole from it. And then this is like that little string on it. We're just doing it all out of paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tuck it in here and put a little glue on the back. Straighten that out just a tiny bit. And I am going to grab just a little bit. Because we've inked everything else, I do feel like I should have inked this too. I'm just going to ink the edges. And I could have gone with more of a neutral color, but I wanted this to match my card a little bit better. But it's going to, that little hook is going to help it hang off of the edge of our cup. And I think it's just the cutest little finish, little finishing touch for this. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue back here, I think, too. And we're going to hang that from our cup. Just make sure, oh, maybe I didn't get the glue in the right place. So there's a note for waiting until you get it in there. I don't want it to cover up my greeting. There we go. All right. The rest of this is going to be down at the bottom. So here is how it's looking so far. This is super cute, for sure. I do think, don't you guys think we need like a little heart or something on our tea bag? I think so, here in a minute. Here in a minute, that's what we're going to go do. Oh, I know. Donna says Pretty Pink Posh always knocks it out of the park. 100%. Let me grab some different foam. 1 minute. I don't like what I picked. I think I ordered more foam, but I need to go see where it is. It might, maybe it's on a journey. I love when my products are on a journey. I had an order or some products that were sent to me that took a 2.5-week journey here just to here in the United States. You know. These are the thin foam adhesive squares. They're not my favorite. I like the thicker ones better, but just a little dimension is good, and I'm out of this size in my regular, so let's see. Do I want to add any? Do I have thin in the other size? I hope so, or I just made a mess. Good news, I have thin in the small ones too. Phew! Just for a second, I was like, uh-oh. Mistakes were made, but I think we're good. I just want to kind of be strategic in where I'm placing these so that it's popped up just a little bit. See if I can hide another couple maybe, just to give it as much stability as possible. All right, and let's do a couple here. I think that's good. So now we have to peel all these off, which is the big bummer, but that's all right. Now, popping this up is also going to make it great for making the little florals around the base of the cup. It's going to give us, you know, a little bit of room to tuck it around there, which I do love. Oh man, these little things are always all over my house, and this is probably why. Anyone else have these little backing papers everywhere in your house? A heart is nice. Tea warms the heart. Yes, I like that. Okay, brings me to my next question for the day, friends. Tea or coffee, or both? Let me know in the comments. Do you have a preference? I know some people are die-hard or neither. It could be tea, coffee, both, or neither. Let us know. All right. I think that's going to be good. Oh, that's cute. Super, super cute. So here are our other greenery pieces. And I don't think I'm actually using all of these on this either. So to balance it out, I'm actually going to use, I think, more greenery over here on this side. Since we have the tea bag over here, I think that's going to look good. And I'm going to use maybe the little smaller piece of greenery. We'll save that one for the other card. And then let's see what we want to do with our flowers. On one side, I'm going to have a couple of blooms, and on the other, we'll just do one. So kind of maybe like this. I like that. And then we can, yes, that's going to be cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Neither. Don't want to sit still long enough to drink it, Anna says. Kat says likes espresso to be more specific. Definitely a pot of tea girl who loves a cup of coffee, Heidi says. Tea either hot or cold. Donna was watching FlossTube. Yes, I have. It's lots of videos today. I feel like I'm back. You know what I mean? Finally back and in action. Getting all my things done. Monday was hard. Okay. And then isn't it hard, like re-entry after you've been gone, whether it's vacation, retreat, whatever? My friend calls it re-entry, and that's why I'm going to call it forevermore because I think it's funny. We're going to grab some gems here in a minute and embellish those flowers a bit. Let's tuck that under here. I like lots of greenery. To me, the greenery really makes the card. The flowers are always those pops of color, but the greenery makes it. Let's see. Coffee only, boba tea, Diet Coke is really my jam, Joyous in Christ. Yes. Oh, Danae says, is it Rise mushroom coffee? She says it's delicious. I've wondered about that. Let's tuck a little bit more of that greenery underneath there. And then I'm going to grab some hearts and gems, and we'll see where the mood takes us for what we want to add here. Oh, that's going to be cute. Okay, I'm going to grab my hearts. Coffee, Elizabeth said. Oh, Joanne, thank you. Kat says she likes to say she needs a vacation from her vacation, right? Tracy says, so glad you're back. Me too. I feel like all of my big commitments are done, at least for a little bit. Okay, we are going to grab a little red heart for our tea bag because I do love a little pop of red. We've talked about this many times that I love a little red. So we are going to do that here. And I'm going to drop some stuff on the floor. Help digestion. Okay, that's kind of good to know, Danae. I love it. Perfect. Okay, now I need to pick some flower centers here, and I think I want these peridot ones. I'm just going to set the rest of these out of the way. And let's look at the size. And what's great with this is going to be one of those opportunities to use some of these bigger Spellbinders gems that I don't always get to use. So we're going to use that one and maybe the next biggest for this one. Yes. Cute, cute. Okay. Now we need a card base. Oh, thank you. Danae says this card has such a light and airy vibe. Tabitha has to work. Bye, Tabitha. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. So we're just going to glue this down, and then we're going to make the vase card too. And it's going to be the same colorway, but just give a little bit different vibe. And there's going to be a couple of little different things about it. Let's glue this one down first. And I feel like this one has plenty going on A lot of times with this eyelet rectangle, I love to feed like the twine or a ribbon through it, but there's a lot. This card is busy, not in a bad way, but I feel like anything else would be too much. Love the heart, DF says. Yes, such a smart idea with the ring for storing your gems. Oh, yes. That has been a game changer for me because I actually keep them together. They were a disaster before. Okay, let's do this while I grab our other things, shall we? Let's talk about our second card. So I have some pieces here. Our second card features the shaker vase. And one of the different things I did about this, yes, a lot of the greenery is the same. We're going to do the same thing for a lot of those pieces. But our vase is from that Simon Says Stamp Ice Vellum. So it's not completely transparent, but you can see through it a little bit. So you can see when we stick our greenery down, it's going to give that vase effect, which I love. Now that's going to make our sentiment stamping a little bit different on this because we have to use something that is not going to smear. And in this case, we are going to use some white StazOn ink. You could also stamp it with embossing ink and heat emboss with any color of embossing powder, and that's going to set your greeting beautifully. I'm also going to use that other sentiment, this one, You're an Amazing Friend. And I pulled some of this really pretty Lawn Fawn twine in the beautiful sky blue color. I think it's going to look gorgeous with this. So let's go ahead and stamp our greeting, and then we'll do all of our florals. I cut a bunch. I'm not sure how many are going to fit in there. So we're going to just see. I'm going to move that one out of the way. And we're going to start with our vase. Oh, thank you guys. I'm glad you liked that one. And again, it's always just kind of been, I've noticed leaning into this more and more lately. I'm trying to make the most of my card making time and get a few cards at least, or a couple, when I am crafting. So I love that the size of this too, it really fits this. One of the things about the white StazOn, I feel like it kind of gives that etched glass look. Michelle, yes, the Lawn Fawn twine is so good. So, fun fact, I'm going to show you what inspired these cards. I should have kept this out. I actually just got my order. And in my order, I ordered these 2 rolls of twine. And when I opened it up, I had no intention of using this color theme for today's cards. And even though my color's a little more pinky than orange, this was my starting off point for everything I'm doing here today. A lot of times I get asked about those kinds of things. Sometimes an idea can come to you as simply as just a color combination. So kind of look at your supplies. Sometimes just a happy accident will lead to a really beautiful color combo. I love this color combo too. I think that's really fun. All right. So let's stamp. I'm going to ink up my stamp really good with my StazOn ink. Is it even showing up? I might not like this color. Wouldn't that be funny, you guys? You know what we might do? Because I don't think that's going to show up. Such a good thought. And if this was regular vellum, it'd be great. I think I'm going to leave it here. Let me grab my embossing ink. I think we're going to have to heat emboss. Okay, if this doesn't work out, if it doesn't work out, we will pivot. But let me just stamp this with clear. And I'm just going to stamp it right on top. If I have to die cut another one here in a minute, so be it. It's fine. The joy of live crafting. Maybe that's what I should call this. I'm going to sprinkle on a little cream embossing powder. I wasn't even thinking about how the colored vellum may not show my greeting as well. I do it on regular vellum all the time. I want that same kind of look, so this time I'm just going to use this cream, which kind of matches some of the cardstock I'm using. All right. Let's see if this is going to be dark enough. The ice vellum is so pretty. I am just obsessed with it. Oh, I'm going to like this better. It'll be fine. Oh, no. Okay, so fail deluxe. Let's get some more vellum out, shall we? Maybe it's because the StazOn was underneath it. Who knows? Luckily, I have my paper right here and my die. And let's just die cut another one and start over. Real crafting. Oh, awesome, Elizabeth. Enjoy your time with your grandson. All right. I'm gonna bet it was the StazOn ink did not like the heat. I kind of wasn't thinking about that. I was trying to think how I could quickly fix this. And look, I still had to die cut another one anyway. All right. Trash. Let's try again. First things first, we need to clean up our stamp. Darn it, that was so pretty, but it fried quickly. It sure did. So we're going to fix it. Or maybe we should call that segment what not to do. So let's start with a clean stamp this time. Cleaned off my stamp. We're going to grab our embossing ink. I'm going to stamp it a couple times to get a good impression. Let's try our embossing powder again. I'm late. Hey, Donna, you're here just in time for me to have to redo things. Which is fine. That's what we do when we're live, right? All right. This is going to work better. Okay. Let's try again. Yes. Note to self, don't heat up StazOn ever. Let me make sure all of this is melted. Yes, it is. Okay, looks so much better, doesn't it? So here's what happened. Look at that fried up mess. That's terrible. And there we go. All right. We have our greeting. Move that out of the way for now. And we're going to do a little bit of inking here. I'm going to use a little surf ink. What type? Oh, I missed something. Yes, Jennifer's asking for a prayer request. For those who can, please add her dad to your prayers. Absolutely, Jennifer. I have a friend whose husband is in surgery today, and I have prayed for him already once, but want to pray again, and I will add your dad to my prayers for sure. Thank you for everyone. We're such a good community, and I appreciate you all for keeping our fellow crafters and their family in your thoughts and prayers. We're going to add the bottom to our vase, which I told you at the beginning of the video when we were talking about this, that is like my favorite little part. I just think it's so cute. There we go. And I'm going to use this as my base again. And I'm going to see, like, because we don't want them hanging out there, right? We want everything to stay up here. So I kind of need to play around with this just a little bit to see how it looks the best. We probably are not going to fill this one quite as full. I can even cut off some of those leaves. But maybe tuck in one more small one, something like that. All right. I have a couple of my daffodils. We also have some pretty little pink flowers. And again, this is going to be a good opportunity to decorate down here near the base of our vase a little bit with some additional greenery. I'm going to grab all of these little pieces that we're going to use. One, two, three, four, five, six. I think that's enough. Let's get all of our flowers. I have lots. I don't know how many I'm going to actually use. DF says the ice vellum is so pretty. The ice vellum is my favorite new color. Hands down, my favorite. All right, a lot of this is going to just be a repetition from before, so I'm going to quickly get my color added to my die cuts. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat, even if it's not necessarily about this card. If you have any questions about upcoming things that I can talk about, I definitely will do that kind of while I am doing my inking. Using up little bits of ink left on my ink or my blending brush. Just a little bit. There we go. Let's add a little bit to this one. Trying to do everything in my yellow first before we move on to the other color. All right. Let's do a little cleanup. Okay, I saw the hummingbird request earlier to use the hummingbird from this release. Does anyone else have any other requests from this release? Products from the release that you would like to see used? There we go. Let's use a little bit of our cheeky color. Do you have tips on stitching the felt owl's head to the body? I can't seem to hold it or get it straight. Yes, don't follow the stitching holes. I stitch mine further down to give it a little more stability. And if you remind me, Kat, it's actually still here because I took it with me, took my samples with me to Michigan last weekend. I will grab it at the end of the video and I will give you a close-up look at it. That's a good question. And that goes for almost all of the critters, the felt stitching critters. I generally don't follow the stitching guide holes. I stitch it a little further down because I feel that it's a little bit more secure. When I'm making a plush, that's what I should say. If I'm not making a plush, then I may do it different. Oopsies. Good question. Let's see. I'd like to see some no-line coloring. I have not done no-line coloring in a hot minute. That's a good question or a good request. Kat says she'll give that a try. Yes, just the shadow box. Oh yeah, the shadow box. Colleen, thank you. I knew there was a request I was forgetting. Okay. She wants to see the shadow box from the release. Perfect. That helps me a lot in my planning for next week because I'm likely going to be filming that tomorrow. You guys are helping me with what to make next. I hardly ever use the color yellow. I love yellow. I don't know what it is, but I just feel it's just so sunshiny. Like it's instant happiness. Okay. Oh, nope. I lie. Let's do these too, shall we? We want to do as much of this as possible. My little owl is blue and teals. It looks so cute. Oh, I bet it's adorable. The owl is so much fun. Okay. And the new release of felt stitching dies is June 10th from Spellbinders, but starting probably the 2nd or 3rd of June, I will start releasing the assembly because those who are in the belong to the Spellbinders Club kits can order early. Do you prefer the glue holder you are using over the Barely Glue? Yes, I do. All right. I am going to, for this card, because I'm going to wrap twine around it, but I don't want glue showing through, I'm actually going to put a little glue here at the top, and I am going to work on like placement of my greenery, and I'm working on sticking it in places I can kind of hide it, if that makes sense. Okay. I am going to do a little surgery, and I think we're actually going to cut off that. Let's see if I like that a little bit better. I think this one can kind of stick here, if I'm not mistaken, but a little bit higher. Maybe like that. There we go. Yeah, if you're in the wax seal kit, you get to order early. Club kit members get to order early. Yep. What is your favorite ink brand? Oh, that's a hard one. Okay, so it's not just one. I'm going to just go with dye ink because I feel like Tim Holtz inks are a different animal altogether because those are kind of technique inks. I would say for dye inks, it's a tie, and it's based on color, but it is a tie between Lawn Fawn, Pink Fresh, and Simon Says Stamp, and I have favorite colors within each of those brands. That's a great question. Oh yeah. And Anna uses the Barely glue in the glue holder. You absolutely can put whatever glue you want to in there. So those leaves I cut off, I actually tucked in here. I don't know if I like them right there, to be honest. I am going to tuck them in here. I think I'm going to actually do this. Oh yeah, I like that better. You know, making adjustments. Oh, I forgot one. Okay. There we go. I can't wait for the stitching dies on June 10th. Thank you. And I have a lot of bonus videos this time. A lot. So extra projects. Okay, now that I kind of have my flowers, let's put these in here. Oops. Did I make both of these go the same way? Well, I sure did. Just like a smarty. Kidding. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. All right. Let's go ahead. Can you give us a hint what is coming with your stitching dies? Yes, I can. There is a strawberry, which I showed in a post yesterday. There's an apple, a beehive, and a sunflower. So not even hints, I just straight told you. How about that? But you could see the strawberry in yesterday's project. Those who came to my in-person stitching event in Michigan last weekend got to play with it in person. Okay. So I'm going to tie this into a little bow. What about you guys? Do you have a favorite ink brand? That was a really great question. Oh, shoot. Stay put, man. Should have put some adhesive on this. I'm going to here in a minute. Let's pull that a little bit tighter. I like to wrap my twine around a few times. A sunflower, they are your favorite, Kat said. Yes. It is so cute. And the sneak peeks will all be up on the Spellbinder site on the 10th of this month. If you haven't already seen them, like the photos are out there from the trade show. That's why I don't feel bad saying what they are. Crafty, yes. Gina K and Altenew, yes. I don't have any of either one of those. I bet they're great. Oh, Concord and Ninth is great. Yes, I do have some. I don't have tons of Concord and Ninth, but I do have some. And yes, theirs are great. I think they're all pretty good, if you know what I mean. I think I'm more about, like, I have favorite colors within each brand. I'm going to put a little glue underneath this knot, and then we're going to use our reverse tweezers to kind of help hold that in place while we're working. That way it can be drying. All right, I need to pick a flower here. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick what flowers I'm going to put down here kind of near the base, like I did on the first card. And it's going to be kind of similar. I think maybe we'll do, I don't want to completely cover up my daffodil, so let's go ahead and do this little smaller bloom, like so. Concord and Ninth paper is great. And I'm like that with paper, just like with ink. I have favorite colors within each brand. Anybody else like that too? It's not just me, right? I hope. I definitely am more of a, I'm more of a based on color than brand kind of person. Add those in. I think we need to add another flower to our bouquet. I am thinking I am going to do this. So this is really why I don't adhere to the card to begin with. Is I like to kind of look at it and be, where am I missing? Is there a hole in the design? And I can see one right here. So all those extra flowers, I'm glad I have them because this is going to allow me to fill in my bouquet a little bit. Nectar by Concord. Judy, you and me both. I agree 100%. That's one of my absolute favorites from Concord and Ninth. Yes. Okay. There we go. And we're going to do this bloom on there. I love it. All right. That looks good. I'm going to flip it over. Judy says she's like that too, and it totally depends on color. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hide my adhesive behind that little cardstock. And this is a good, one of the better reasons, I suppose, for using these small adhesive, or small. Yes, Nicole, they're small. The thin foam adhesive rather than the standard foam adhesive, because it's a much lower profile. Like I'm going to show you on the one we just did. See how it's just barely popped up instead of how normally the foam squares pop it up quite a bit more. This is one of the great reasons for using it is because I can't put any adhesive back behind the vellum on this one. Okay. I'm going to do that. Hi, Courtney. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you had fun at the retreat. I'm still on a high from it. Like I said, re-entry was hard. I was like, no, I want to go back. Okay. I'm going to peel these off. What did Anna... Distress re-inkers for watercoloring are fantastic, yes. I'm not a good watercolorist, but I agree. I mean, in the past I've done that a little bit, and that's a great use for your distress re-inkers for sure. And we're going to take off these. It's like watching paint dry, pulling all those little things off, isn't it? Okay. We're going to pop our vase in place. Before we tap all those little spots down. So cute. Now we're going to fill in with a little greenery. So it looks like I'm going to be using the shadow box and the hummingbird for sure from this release in upcoming videos. Perfect. I loved both of those products, so that makes me very happy. I don't know that I'm going to use that one. I think we're going to use this pink flower right here. We'll just save that other bloom for another project. We're going to tuck our pretty little green leaves. We're going to layer this little flower. I like it to be full. For this card anyway, we're going to make it nice and full. Pretty similar to the previous card for the most part. Couple of cute little flowers down here. Okay, so let's grab our gems again. and add some flower centers. And I think we're going to do all gems for any flowers on this one. I like those. Aw, Tracy, thank you. And let's get another one of these big ones. These big gems are working really good in some of these florals. I love it. Okay, I got all of those. Let's get our card base. Thank you, you guys. I'm glad you love it. Oops. That has some foam back behind it, clearly. And then we're going to take a look at both finished cards. Did I answer everybody's question? I am going to grab that owl here in just a minute. Kat, you were asking about that, right? I will grab that as soon as I'm done with this, so we can chat about it just a little bit. Okay, now, one thing that's like glaring to me right now is I think this card needs a little red heart too. I feel like that little pop, I mean, it's such a tiny little pop of red, but doesn't it add something to this one? And I think we could do it as the dot on the eye, or maybe I'll just do it down here. Kind of like it right here down underneath the sentiment. Let's do that. But I think that elevates the design and gives it such a cute little pop of color. There we go. Oh, I love it. All right, let me leave these here, and I'm going to grab that owl to show Kat really quick. And a little bit later this month, I'll show some sneak peeks of the upcoming. Okay. So here is the owl, and you'll notice, the stitch line is probably like more right here. I know it's sandwiched so you can't see, but hopefully when you see it, like, okay, here's a good example. I almost didn't get this one low enough. I would stitch it lower than you think, because I think the result is better that way. And it doesn't take away from the finish at all. Judy says they all need a little red heart. Yes, I agree. Hopefully that helps just a little bit. Okay, do you have any other questions before I sign off for today? I hope everybody has enjoyed the Pretty Pink Posh release day live. Lots of great new springy summer themed product. So fun. Oh, hi Zoe. She goes, stop it. Thank you. Yep, Tracy says the little red heart by Signature Little Kiss. I just can't get away from it. I love those little red hearts. Okay. Thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. Thank you for joining me today. I will be back Friday for another Friday live. It will be another live with multiple card ideas, so come and join me then. And I hope everybody has a wonderful couple days here until I see you live again. Join me Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time if you can, and have a great rest of your Wednesday. Bye, everyone. The supplies used in today's video are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another project that you might be interested in. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to never miss a new live video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.